So, here's the thing. This movie was pretty fantastic. Kind of. I'm going to try to stretch this review out to make it a good size. I'm not going to make sure that anything burns, and we're going to flame on right through and tell you what I think of this movie. Hello and welcome to another movie review. We are going to be talking about the new Fantastic Four, The First Steps. So, this new Fantastic Four movie that came out in 2025, and I just saw this movie yesterday. So I let it, sit with me, because originally I was going to just go right from the movie theater, write down what I thought about it, sit down and record the video, but I thought it would probably be better just to sleep through it, because I do have a few things to say about this movie, great things to say about this movie, and some little nitpicks that I want to discuss. This is a brand new movie, obviously, so we're going to do the most simplest thing ever. We're going to do a spoiler-free-ish version. And at the end, the last, few minutes, I'll just talk about the spoilers, because there's a couple of spoilers that I think I want to address, but for now, we'll just go with the spoiler-free portion, so you're welcome. So, the Fantastic Four First Steps, the one that just came out, takes place in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, if you're not accustomed to what the Marvel Cinematic Universe is, thank God. Yeah, so I'm not gonna force anyone to say you have to watch the MCU. You have to watch the MCU to understand Fantastic Four: The First Steps. You don't. You actually don't, which is a breath of fresh air. Yeah, you don't need to watch any of the Marvel movies, other Marvel movies, to understand what the Fantastic Four is. You don't even need to know what the Fantastic Four is in order to understand this movie. But I'm definitely not going to go on a tangent about the MCU, because that would be a topic for another video, which would be way too long, so we're going to just talk about Fantastic Four. Now, I was pretty hyped about this movie. I love the Fantastic Four. I think the Fantastic Four is pretty cool. And as you can see, this is the Fantastic Four, the original, that came out in 2005, which is 20 years ago, which is crazy to think about. That's actually crazy. Oh my god. I'm getting old. Their reputation for the Fantastic Four movies hasn't been the best. They've been culturally claimed as pretty good movies for nostalgic-based reasons, especially the first Fantastic Four. But especially the one that came out in 2015, we just don't talk about that one. We don't talk about that one at all. But this one was a breath of fresh air, let me tell you. Holy shit. This one was really good. It was actually really good. I want to talk about the actors, Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Joseph Quinn, and Ebon Moss-Bachrach. I'm sure you've seen all of them before in other movies. If you haven't, go out and watch more movies. What can I tell you? I'm kidding. You also have Julia Garner, who is the Silver Surfer. You have Ralph Ineson, which is Galactus. Galactus. That's a great part of the movie as well. But yeah, those are the Fantastic Four, and they were really good. I was actually very surprised with how they were. No complaints at all. I thought this was 100 million times better than the Fantastic Four that came out in 2015, and it was just really good. This is really hard to say without spoilers. It really is, but I'm going to try my best. Focus. I'm focused now. Yeah, so obviously in the movie, it takes place in the 60s retro New York City, which the setting I loved. I think the setting was probably one of my favorite parts of the movie. I love the fact that it's set in an alternate 60s universe where everything's more retro with futuristic style and technology, with obviously that 60s setting. The cast was really good. Pedro Pascal, you can say what you want about him. I think he was really good as Reed Richards. I didn't think he was bad at all. I thought that, there was one scene in particular towards the end where it reminded me of his Last of Us acting, and I'm not going to say, obviously, for spoiler-free reasons, but it's just good. Joseph Quinn, obviously, I know him from Stranger Things and also Warfare, which is another great movie by A24. Side note, but he was great as Human Torch. Eben, I love him. He was great as the Thing, even though most of the time it was voice acting and motion capture. But the motion capture too for the Thing was really, really good. And then Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, I thought she was pretty good. I didn't think that these were like an Oscar nomination worthy of her performance, but she was pretty good. And so the acting was pretty solid throughout. The setting was great. The action, there actually isn't as much action as you would think to see in a Fantastic Four movie. This movie revolves around family. Family. And that's the main theme of Fantastic Four that has always been throughout, I believe, through the comics and even the earlier films. Like, this family, these people that come together to save the world, and in the sense they are a family. They love each other, they live with each other, they're scientists together, they're culture together. It's a great one big happy family, and they just played that off well. They played off the family aspect of it well, I thought, and there was no complaints in there. Now, the only complaint that I could really give about this movie is the CGI. Now, obviously, I'm going to be very lenient because there are points in this where the CGI is great. I thought Galactus looked great. I thought the Thing looked great. One part in particular where I leaned over to my friend and the Thing is holding something. I'm not going to say what it is for spoiler reasons, and he's just holding something, and I lean over to my friend and I say, that's obviously CGI. And it just looked really obvious to me. Some of the background green screen parts of the film looked a little obvious to me, and maybe that's just me. I am a critique when it comes to CGI, especially when I saw the end credits and there was 100 names for VFX artists, like literally hundreds of names for VFX artists, and great for you guys, because you guys really make the CGI in movies stand out. You make the Marvel movies, because Marvel movies most of the time, are based around CGI, visual effects. I know this one used a lot of practical effects, especially for stand-ins for the Thing. Like, there was an actual guy in a costume for the Thing to stand in, so that actors could have a visual representation of the Thing actually being there. And also Galactus too. They had Ralph in the actual suit walking around. In an interview, he said that he was walking around in like a white spaced area with white buildings, and like that part of filming of practical effects are amazing. Sometimes the CGI in the film, like I said, looked a little wonky, but it wasn't the biggest problem. The movie overall, it was very good, I think. It sets up, obviously it sets up the MCU, the next steps in the MCU, of course, if you stay for the end credits. They always do that, and this was just a very good movie. There were points in time where I will say that the humor did not land. And unlike this movie, the movie Superman, which I did see, but I obviously didn't make a video about it, I liked Superman slightly better than this. Only because Superman, we haven't had a really good Superman movie in a while, and that one I felt just really stood out to me. Not saying that this isn't anywhere not close to Superman. It's still great. It's still good. It's not as good as Superman, in my opinion. And that's also parts of the humor. Now, in Superman, I laughed, me and my friend, I think we laughed a little bit more at jokes in the film, whereas this one, I kind of did like a at some parts, and I was like, no one is laughing. There was also this guy behind us that was like laughing at the most weird parts of the film, and like the most not funny lines of the film, and I can't tell if he was trying to have a good time, but his laugh was literally just, he was like in the back of us. Like, if the mic is here, the mic is us, he's in the back of us. It's like kind of like that laugh. It was a little weird. There really isn't anything else I can say about this movie without talking about spoilers. If you guys want to see what I rate it, I do have a letterbox. You can check it out right here or in the link below. You can check out the letterbox. But if you don't want to see any spoilers about it, if you don't want to have me ramble about it, I would just skip to the end of the video where I don't talk about spoilers, but right now, this is your spoiler warning because I can't talk about this movie without spoilers. Oh, but before I get to spoilers, I do want to talk about Herbie the robot. I actually think that Herbie the robot was pretty cool. He was big parts in the movie. I didn't think that, like, he was that great. Not to say that he wasn't. I thought some parts of the movie he was useful, and then some points he just wasn't, if that makes sense. He would kind of just was there. I still love the character. I still love Herbie the robot. I thought he looked great. I don't know if it was practical. I'll look at that and put it in post editing if it was practical. But either way, practical CGI looked great. The movie looked great. It felt great. I had a great time, and it was under 2 hours, and that was perfect. I thought it was really, really good. If obviously you like the Fantastic Four, you like the MCU, you should go see it. If you don't like the MCU, but you like the Fantastic Four, you should go see it. If you don't like either, I'd still say go see it. You might like it. Maybe this might even make you want to become a superhero movie watcher. But yeah, so we're going to get into spoilers right now because there's not a lot I can talk about without spoilers. So here we go. So, Franklin, the baby. Yeah, so Franklin, obviously, Sue Storm, she gives birth during a fight with Galactus. The Fantastic Four have to go meet up with him. They find him at his, like, ship where he's destroying another planet because Silver Surfer comes down and says, you know, I herald at his beginning, I herald at his end, I herald when he takes a shit. And they go, fuck, we can't have Earth destroyed, we have to go find Galactus. So they go, fly out, they find Galactus, very Interstellar-like, with them docking into the ship, going into the wormhole. There is literally a black hole, and I was like, this is Interstellar. If that whole thing was a reference to Interstellar, I thought it was pretty cool. Obviously, it's space. It's not like anything in space is direct reference to Interstellar, but it just felt very like Interstellar. If you obviously seen the movie, you would know what I'm talking about, which I don't know why you're at this part if you haven't seen the movie, or you just don't care, which, honestly, I don't blame you. The MCU has been on a track of, this is so good, we're so back, we're so not back, we're so back, we're so doomed, we're so back, we're so doomed, and, you know, that's been, like, the mojo. But right now we've had 2 back-to-backs. I did like Thunderbolts, and I did like, obviously, this movie. But going back into spoilers, so they go fly out to Galactus, they go fly to see Galactus, they encounter him, and Galactus says, I need your baby, I need it now. And basically, she gives birth on the ship, and they name him Franklin. At first, I was like, why name him Franklin? But then my friend who is more into Marvel Comics than me says that that's actually the kid's name in the comic books, Franklin Richards. And apparently, he is the most powerful superhero of all time. Yeah, so Franklin Richards apparently is considered one of the most powerful characters in the MCU. I feel like every single time a Marvel movie comes out that involves superheroes, they introduce someone that is supposedly the most powerful, or at least that I've ever seen the most powerful, and then it's turned away and thrown in the trash because then the next movie that comes out, they say, no, this character is the most powerful. Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's why I just, after Endgame, a lot of the movies for the MCU have kind of just been kind of on a downward steep, but that's just another gripe that I have. But yeah, so she gives birth on the ship, and, you know, Galactus says, well, before that, Galactus says, if you give me your baby now, I will spare Earth. And obviously they say no because, you know, they want a kid. They haven't had a kid after their, like, accident. So she gives birth on the ship, and then they go back, and then everyone's asking them, how did it go? Did you defeat Galactus? And they're like, no, we didn't. What do you mean you didn't defeat Galactus? Is he gonna come here still? No, he's still coming here. What are we gonna do? I don't know. That's literally what Reed Richards says. I don't know. And so after that, they have to come up with an idea to get Galactus away from Earth. And the only way that they think about it is either they give up the baby, which obviously they don't want to give up the baby. And so one of the gripes that I have in this movie is the fact that they build hundreds of teleporters for around the globe because they want to sort of teleport Earth somewhere else. We're going to push Bikini Bottom and push it somewhere else.
We should take Bikini Bottom and push it somewhere else!
That idea may just be crazy enough to get us all killed!
And so they try to do that. They literally set up these big, massive, like teleportation, like arc things, and it's literally like it's around the globe. And they did this, and I think in the movie they did this in days. They did this in fucking days. So they just had that shit ready. They built it already. And then, of course, it's thwarted by Silver Surfer. She comes in and fucking destroys everything. And I was like, I literally said to myself, I go, now that was a waste of time. Of precious fucking time. But then that's also not a gripe that I really have. That was just a little nitpick. I was like, oh, that seemed too fast. The real big part that I didn't like was I felt like there wasn't enough Galactus. Now, that's just me. Galactus was only in there for a little bit. But the times that he was in the movie, he was big, he was scary, it was tension building. So they did that part right. I just felt like, they should have added a little bit more. That's my only gripe in it. And so at the end of the movie, obviously, it didn't work out. And then, of course, the Silver Surfer stops and only destroys every other teleporter but the one in New York City. She destroys every single other one but the one that Fantastic Four are right near. And so at the end, they finally do some workarounds, and Sue uses her invisible force to kind of like push Galactus into the portal. And Reed Richards, all of them are using their powers. He grabs Franklin, and Sue Storm uses the last of her powers. She pushes him into the portal, and then it's not working. Sue Storm is about to die because she's using all of her strength. And then Johnny Storm says, tell Franklin that his uncle loves him, or something along those lines, and he goes forward to try to push Galactus into the portal, and then Silver Surfer comes in, stops him, pushes him out of the way. And then Silver Surfer takes the sacrifice herself and pushes Galactus and herself into the portal, and the portal closes. And then Sue Storm dies. Honestly, that should have been the end of the movie. They should have, unfortunately, I think for an emotional gut punch, they should have had Sue Storm outright die. But so then they have Franklin, the baby, they're all crying. This is the part where The Last of Us, Pedro Pascal comes out, and I thought that was really great acting. He was crying over her, they're all mourning, and then the baby comes over, and the baby like just literally just does this. He puts his arm like this and is looking down at the body like this. And then she comes alive. So I'm like, who the fuck is Franklin? Who is Franklin? And then that's where my friend tells me that Franklin is the most powerful being in Marvel Universe, which... Okay, Marvel, you do you. And then the end credit scene happens, and of course the first end credit scene is Doctor Doom. We don't see Doctor Doom, but we just see the back of his head, and he has Franklin. It's like 4 years after the movie, because it says 4 years later. He has his mask off. He's having, I think, Franklin hold the mask, and like you can only see the back of him. Don't know if it was Robert Downey Jr. In the suit. Probably not, but you know, he's looking at Franklin, and then the movie cuts. And then there's another stupid end credit scene at the end. So I'm going to go back into spoiler-free. So at this part, this is where everyone can come back from the spoiler-free version. I just wanted to talk about all that part because as you can see, I needed to get that off my chest. Just all of that. At the end of the day, I thought this was a very good Fantastic Four movie. The best Fantastic Four movie that Marvel has made, because they've made not very good ones in the past. So this is definitely the best one. The dynamic is great between the Reed and Sue. The dynamic is great between Johnny Storm and Ben Grimm's. The great dynamic. There's good humor. There's some humor that doesn't land. But I still think overall it was a very good entry into the next MCU. And it's the start of Phase 6. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I like the movie. And if you like it, let me know in the comments below. If you like these kind of reviews, let me know, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. And go check out Fantastic Four. But also, you should go check out Liminal, which releases on YouTube on this channel on August 8th, my first ever short film, which is more important than the Fantastic Four. So, that's how I'm going to end the video. go see the movie. If you want to follow my Letterboxd to see what I said about the movie or what the review I gave it, or any other reviews of my other movies, don't look too much into my favorite sections in Letterboxd. That has not been updated. I always just put movies in there that I keep thinking about in the moment, or that I recently see. I'm like, oh, it's a great movie. So my favorite movie sections on Letterboxd have to be kind of reorganized. But other than that, great movie, good movie, fantastic movie, even. Yeah, this was a rough review. I'm tired. All right, that's about it. See you guys.